2025, and let's face it, finding a good budget GPU right now is a headache. Newer cards? Either too weak or way too expensive. So what if the real value isn't in the latest releases, but in a 5-year-old underdog, the GTX 1660 Super? This card promises solid 1080p performance, low power draw, and a price that doesn't make your wallet cry. But is it still worth buying today? Let's break it down. Let's quickly run through the basics. The GTX 1660 Super launched back in late 2019, built on NVIDIA's Turing architecture, but without the fancy ray tracing or DLSS features. It comes with 6GB of GDDR6 memory, 1400 CUDA cores, and a 192-bit memory interface. So even today, it's no slouch for 1080p gaming. Think of it as a refined version of the GTX 1060, with a nice memory boost and better overall performance. When it comes to actual gaming, the GTX 1660 Super still holds up surprisingly well, especially at 1080p. In esports titles like Valorant, CS2, League of Legends, or Fortnite, you can expect over 100 FPS at high settings. Smooth gameplay all the way. For newer AAA games like Cyberpunk 2077, Hogwarts Legacy, or Spider-Man Remastered, you'll want to stick to medium settings to stay in the 50 to 60 FPS range. It can struggle with ultra settings or heavy texture packs, mostly due to its 6GB VRAM limit. But if you're willing to tweak a few sliders, it's still more than capable. One of the GTX 1660 Super's underrated strengths is how efficient and cool it runs. With just a 125-watt power draw, it doesn't need a massive power supply. Even a 450 to 500-watt unit is more than enough. Compared to older cards like the RX 580, it runs noticeably cooler and quieter, which is great if you're using a compact case or want a low-noise build. It's basically plug-and-play for most systems, and you won't need to worry about crazy temps or loud fans kicking in mid-game. Now let's talk price, and this is where the 1660 Super really shines. In the used market, you can usually find one for around $100 to $130 depending on the condition and region. That puts it in the same price range as cards like the RX 580, RX 5500 XT, or even some entry-level options like the RX 6400, but with better overall performance and stability. For budget gamers, this is easily one of the best price-to-performance GPUs you can buy in 2025, as long as you're okay going used. So, is the GTX 1660 Super still worth it in 2025? For smooth 1080p gaming, especially in esports and lighter modern titles? Absolutely. It's efficient, affordable, and still hits that sweet spot for budget builds. If you need ray tracing or plan to game at higher settings long term, you'll want to look higher. But for most gamers on a budget, the 1660 Super still gets the job done.